Hi, this is Marina from Frocks Frolics, and I'm going to show you here how to finish the apron. So we're going to put a ruffle in and finish the waistband. So let's go. The waistband has a little ribbon and I want it to go straight across. In order for me to know where to put that waistband, I'm going to just iron this in half here. And then I iron up my seam allowance, and that way, of course, I know that in the center, that's exactly where my ribbon needs to sit. So it's actually really simple. And it's exactly the same as on the standard video as well, this part of it. So if you already know how to do this, then lucky you. I just pin it. And then I can use the creases that I've just put in to guide me as to where I need to top stitch it. So I'm going to top stitch from both sides. Ignore my seam, I'd run out of fabric, so I had to patch a bit. There we go. Brilliant. Put it down. And go really close to the edge. I'm using red because it really matches, and if you're not quite as straight as you might want to be, then if you use the same color as your ribbon, it's not so bad, is it? So that's it. To the other side, you can now cut off the ends. That's it. So now what we want to do is put over the lining. Now you can just sew around it, but I wanted to put on a ribbon, so you have to do that first. So I'm putting it on so that when I sew this on, I will hit the 1 centimeter seam allowance just where the ribbon starts, right? So I'm not putting it directly on the edge because that could cause me to miss some of my furry parts. It's going to be so cute. In my sew along, which you can watch in the Facebook page, I've actually used a really nice tape with bobbles on, like the little bobbly things hang down, and that was so cute. So you might want to have a look at that. There we go. So now I'm going around the corner. If you're really not sure how to do this, if you think you might not do it right, you could always mark that with a textile marker before you do it. So gently move it around. Keep to that centimeter seam allowance. There you go. And all the way up to the other end. Now we're going to put the lining on, and I'm just going to put this over from the wrong side here and pin it with the pins vertical to the seam again, so that I don't have to take them out, because I'm actually going to sew from the other side, because from the other side I can see the stitch line already got, and I want to be directly on that stitch line, so that's why. So put them on. And now I can see what I've been doing, and you can see here on the right hand side that I didn't do a very good job. So I drew it in on tailor's chalk where I actually need to go to make it look good. The round wasn't that brilliant. And I go back under the sewing machine, and now if I hit the same points exactly, then of course I know it's right? So it's not hard to do at all to get this right. It was a bit harder with the little bobbles because they actually were interfering with my sewing skillage, so I had to use a zipper foot to put this on, but when you use a lace ribbon like that, then it's really easy. Go all the way across. All the way around. You can see that I really pull it from the back, never from the front, but I do pull it from the back because I don't want it to get stuck, which is really easy. And once you're stuck and the machine hammers in the same point, you got a little knobble in there, and then it won't transport, and it's really annoying. First thing is to check that none of the lace has been caught. So I just check that out, make sure I haven't done any mistakes, because if you do, this is where you can put it straight still. But it was okay, so now I can cut back my seam allowance. And then I can turn it, and the next step is to iron this baby. It's looking great. And now I'm going to put together the ties. So the ties go right sides facing, if you have a right side, on to the waistband. And I'm just going to sew across there with a centimeter seam allowance. And then I'm also going to top stitch it just by folding the seam towards the ties. Always use a longer stitch when you're top stitching, don't forget. And now I'm going to sew the waistband to the apron. I'll just put this edge to edge here. And then I'm going to sew along in the crease that I've ironed, or as long as you keep it steady distance, to your stitch line as well, where you can see where you put the ribbon on so that the distance is right. So when you turn it over and iron it, the ribbon looks like it's all in the same position. So you want to do that. And I'm just stitching straight into my crease, because I think that's a really good guideline. So I feed that through the center of my presser foot all the way across. There we are. And up. And you can see that the distance is like perfect, yeah? So if you do everything exactly like that, then it'll come out really well. Now I'm going to just put the ties together. And the way to do that is to just shimmy in here the little bit of the apron and put it right sides together on top of each other, just the seam here. And then I'm going to close the ties right to that point. And the rest of it will just be closed when we do the top stitching all the way around the ties. So do that from both sides. It sometimes gets a little bit thick, so you might not want to go any further than that bit there. Off to the sewing machine, and at the very tip you might want to have a smaller stitch length so that when you cut it back sharpish it doesn't fray. There we go. Just run it into the seam that you already got. Cut back your seam allowances. There we go. And now I need something to stick in there, like a pencil, could be anything, and just so you can push it through and then pull it through. And then you need to get your pencil out, of course, you know, let it slide back down. And that's it. Take it out, and then we're going to iron this. You want to lift out your tip from the side. You never want to like go directly into the tip and pull it out, because you're very likely to then have a little bit of frayed fibers come out with it. It's happened to me many, many times. And so you want to come in from the side until you get a really nice tip. And then you just press it, lick your fingers, and yeah, and then move along, rolling out the edge really nicely. Bit of saliva always helps. I know it's a bit disgusting. We say that, oh my god, but it is actually, I do it automatically all the time. Lick your fingers a bit, you know, not dripping wet, just a little bit, and then it's really easy to do. Next we're going to just fold in our waistband, and because we've already had that line, I'm just going to reinforce that and just press it down again, because It'll make it easier to fold it in. So I'm just going to give this a quick press up here. And you want it to sit just on your stitching line. You don't want it to go over the stitching line, just on it. And then very lightly pin it from that side, because you don't want to get that little dent in it. So that makes it then harder to sew it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now I can just finish ironing on the other side, because I hadn't done that yet, and then we're ready for top stitching. You want to start anywhere on it, but so that you're top stitching from the right hand side when you get to the waistband. So don't start on the waistband, anywhere on the ties, right? And then when you get to the tip here, you just want to have the needle down. I'm just moving mine across. You can also use a double thread that you pull through the end, and then you pull that, and I've done that in the sew along, and I show that very slowly. The sew along can be accessed in the Facebook group. It's very long, it's 2 hours. So you might not want to do that, but if you are desperate, or you could watch the classic version of this video in which I show that as well. And because I get these little dents in there, I pull out my pins as I get to them. I really pull it as I go along. There we go, and over and all the way around. Go to the end again, make sure that you put the tension up, and stitch length should always be longer when you're top stitching, so at least 3, if not 3.5, otherwise it looks really homemade. And we go all the way down here. Secure. And that's it basically. We've got a really nice tie. We're almost done. Isn't that fantastic? What else do we have to do? Ah, yes, we have to put the little faces on. So I'll get my template again. Shake up my paint. And I prefer the Malibu actually, because this one you can't iron on. But you can do it with this. It gives a nice glossy eye, and it will stay glossy. I'm just moving the little paint pot around in a circular motion to do my eyes, and then I do the little smile. And you want to do it in one go, very slowly, up, 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 up. Isn't that cute? And I'm going to do the same on him, and then I just leave that overnight to dry really. Let's do that. And then I'm going to do the little smile. Not sure that was a good idea. I wouldn't do that, people. I didn't do it again. And now I'm using the Malibu paint, which I think is much, much better. I'm going to do some polka dots on the scarf here. And I think that even if this didn't turn out perfect, I think you should really get your kids involved. If they make their own apron, they're going to love this. They're going to want to wear this all the time, saying I made this, because there's lots of stuff they can do with the decoration, and they will love taking part, helping mummy sewing. So this is the next day. It has actually dried. What you can't do with the black, you can't really iron on it, and I'm not sure how it's going to wash. Look here, it sticks. I would use the Malibu fashion liners for both, to be honest. But it looks very cute, and it's off going in the post to my friend's little girls. The last thing I want to do is put on a little white bobble. You can get like packets of those for $1.50 in any craft shop. Have a look in the Poundland if you're in the UK. I'm going to put that on. You could put more on them, like I did on the tree skirt, and pretend they are snowflake. There we go, just a little loop, secure, out we come. So there we are. I've made 2 aprons there for 2 lovely girls, Magdalena and Victoria. They're going to get these for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something as well. If you're watching on YouTube, all the links will be below in the info box. And for everyone that's watched from the Academy directly, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy all your Christmas craft this year. Bye for now.